Ladies and gentlemen, on this special late night edition of War of Week Boxing, Ryan Garcia goes from being king to court jester in one or two fell swoops. All this and more on the latest edition of War Week Boxing.
Rashawn Holdings proudly presents War Week Radio Chats with ring announcer Joseph Herron.
Guys, welcome. Happy, well, maybe not so happy Wednesday to some people, but for me it is, because I'm being joined by two of my favorite people in the world. Yeah, first of all, the incomparable G Funky Boxing. G, how you doing tonight, my friend?
What's up, Joe? Thanks for having me, man.
Thank you for being here, brother. And be still my heart. We're being visited by the editor-in-chief of the classic, legendary FightSaga.com, Lee Cleveland. Woo! Welcome, sir.
Nice. Great being here. Thank you.
I tell you what, and guys, just in case you didn't know, that was my Sonny, his song, Depersonalization, from their Disc Golf Honeymoon EP. So guys, go check it out on all of your favorite media outlets. Guys, can this really be happening? Can boxing ever get a damn break? Like we just hit a grand slam out of the park. Commercial big hit, and it was a huge critical hit as well on April 20th. Yeah, well, fast forward to May 1st, and everything looks very, very different now, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Guys, in case you didn't know, in case you've been living under a rock, Ryan Garcia he tested positive for two different performance-enhancing drugs, banned substances, ostarine, right? But here's the worst one. Norandrosterone.
Woo!
Norandrosterone. Yeah, I got it right. Hey, norandrosterone. That's an anabolic steroid, guys. And he tested the day before the fight and immediately following the fight on the two samples taken by the New York State Athletic Commission. This is not good, guys. So not only does he come in, doesn't even try to make weight, seemingly, comes in an egregious 3.2 pounds over the weight limit. But he tests positive for two banned substances. G Funky, what was your first impression when you heard the terrible news?
Well, not shocked to hear any fighter test positive for a performance enhancing drug. That's number one. I'm not one of these fans that gets all outraged about these things because, look, there's a lot of people using this stuff, man. But I'll say this: I just seen this right now on Twitter. This is a statement from Golden Boy Promotions on this whole situation. And I quote, Ryan has put out multiple statements denying knowingly using any banned substances, and we believe him. We are working with his team to determine how this finding came to be, and we'll address this further once we conclude that process. So that's what they're putting out right now. Uh, of course, all the things will have to be analyzed. We'll have to look at levels, all that stuff.
Yep.
We'll see what happens, but yeah, definitely not surprised, man. Not surprised at all. At again, any fighter, this is the gift that keeps on giving in boxing.
Yeah. Lee, and look, we've known this for a very long time, Lee, that this is probably the worst kept secret in the sport and the ugliest, darkest secret that most fans, they don't realize how rampant this problem is in boxing. Your thoughts, sir?
Well, yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that. And, we're seeing it here. It's hard to say. You don't know what to say. On one hand, as far as his innocence or him knowingly doing it, I mean, on one hand, you want to believe him in saying that, well, maybe someone can, put something in his drink or put something in something and he didn't know about it. Or it could be one of those situations where it's one of those wink, wink type things. Well, here's your drink. I didn't put anything in it, and wink, wink, or, and then so you're being truthful by saying, well, you didn't know what was in it, or you didn't know that anything was put in it. I don't know. I mean, yeah, we've seen this. I mean, I think Shannon Briggs is probably the only guy I know that came right out and said, hey, you know what? You caught me. I'm guilty. Remember that whole thing? Remember when he was popular and he was trying to get to fight with Vlad? He came right out and said, hey, you caught me. I'm sorry. Yeah, you caught me. I don't think, has anyone ever admitted to this?
No.
I'll tell you what. Look. Go ahead, G. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, no, I haven't seen it. Go ahead.
No. But I will say this, what no one has done yet. Okay. And this is, how I was talking about last week, guys, where the Derek James filing suit against Errol Spence Jr. puts a spotlight on an underlying long stemming problem within the business of boxing, and hopefully it causes this to get resolved. In my opinion, if I were advising Ryan, I would say throw your conditioning coach under the bus and blame it on him. Because that very well may have been the case. Once again, Ryan just taking supplements, doesn't know what he's just listening to his conditioning coach. But not very wise. You should know everything you're putting into your body. But I always go back to what Emmanuel Stewart used to tell me, right? You know what, Joseph? I can't stand conditioning coaches. They're basically the drug pushes of boxing. Man, it's funny how before they infiltrated our beloved boxing, you never had to worry about anyone pissing dirty back then. Is he wrong?
No, he's not wrong. And yeah, this is a weird situation, man. Also, because from reading what Big Dan Rayfield has put out, and I think he was one of the first guys.
I eat salads. I don't eat steak tartare. I eat salads.
Yeah, me too. But, he puts out this with the tweet that obviously that he tested positive for something, but he says that the 2 urine samples they're from tests from the 19th, which is the day before the fight, and then the post-fight urine test, April 20th. So here's another thing, man. Now, look, I have never used steroids. But I have given steroids to someone for medical purposes. And I can tell you like this, they don't work overnight like that, man. At least from my experience.
That's absolutely right.
This is a little weird, this timing of these tests coming back,
Agreed. I agree wholeheartedly. Like most of the time, It's from a sample that's still not out of your system. If you're not, well, look, let's just face it. Most of the time, these guys are working with, let's say, guys like Memo Heredia, right? Guys who engineer this shit, guys who went to school for this, chemical masters, chemical engineers. Now, think about this. There are constantly new supplements being made, right? And they're ahead of the curve. Why do you think there are always every year new banned substances being added to the list?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think? Because most of these guys are ahead of the curve, and yeah, they will design one that can pass the test. So most of these guys don't get caught. But let me tell you guys, in case you didn't know, this is why I stopped covering this story, because there's no point. Okay? Because if the fighters don't mind and they're all doing it, look, if you want to compete at the elite level, then yeah, you're going to do it. Because it's the difference of making ends meet to making life-changing money. That's the difference in just being a good fighter and then being one of the elite in boxing. The elite make all the money. And you can't tell me if these guys are already stepping in harm's way and their best method of improving their lives are taking punches to the face and to the body, then they're not going to take steroids. They're not going to take PEDs. Of course they are, guys. And it's the worst kept secret in boxing. Everyone does it, guys. It's just most of them don't get caught. And so G Funky raises a very, very good point. I have never seen a test like that for steroids the day before the fight and the day after, or the immediately following the fight. Because most of the time, you use an IV or something to mask it, or you just have traces of it when they randomly test you in the beginning of camp. So, yeah, this is not good, guys, though. Either way, this is not good. Because what's more than likely going to happen, guys? Now, once again, Ryan Garcia over the past 2 weeks has been the toast of the entire sports community here in the American market. Not just boxing. Everyone has been talking about that amazing power punch performance.
Dude,
right?
check this
Over a guy who was undefeated like Devin Haney.
Check this out, Joseph.
I'm sorry, what, G?
No, you were talking
Yes,
about
sir, go
how,
ahead.
at the elite level, there's a lot of this going on, right? Again, I'm scrolling through Twitter while I'm on the show here, and I just seen Regis Prograis tweeted this an hour ago.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "I'm going to get the belt one more time, and then I'm moving to bare knuckle fighting. Boxing is just too dirty." Man. And these guys know something, man. That's for sure.
Yeah, look, guys. Like I said, this is the reason why Paulie was going on and on and on and on about it. And there's a reason why Floyd knew damn sure, he was absolutely 100% certain that Manny Pacquiao was using. Why? Takes one to know one, guys. Look, this is a huge problem, but is it a problem? Is it a problem? Because to be honest, guys, if the fighters don't care, they're all doing it. If they don't care, why the hell should anyone else? They're the ones who are taking the damage. They're the ones who are taking the punishment. Why the hell should anyone? If they don't care, why should anyone else?
Yeah.
And you can argue that the sport has become safer as a result of everyone juicing to the nines. Because Lee, What causes the most damage in boxing? What causes those deaths? That head trauma, the
Oh yeah, well, obviously
sustained
those
beating, right?
sustained heavy punches to the head, violent punches to the head. But yeah, you don't have guys, you rarely have these guys going toe to toe for 12 rounds like you did before. I mean, they'll go to toe to toe in spurts, but you don't really have that today. Like fighters are so much more defensive today.
Yeah. Well, and for good reason also, because let's just face it, guys, after the Magomed tragedy in New York, yeah, most state athletic commissions, yeah, they're a lot more conservative when calling a halt to the contest. So most fighters understand, hey man, if I get hurt, there is a chance that the ref could prematurely step in and stop it. And I'll be honest, I absolutely hate that. I absolutely hate that. Like, dude, the only reason why we've seen these great, amazing fights was because of liberal-minded officials, right? Willing to give the fighters the benefit of the doubt. That's why they train so hard, damn it. So they can fight through adversity. What's the point? What's the point then? Like, we love that drama. That's what makes the fight game so great. That's why I fell in love with it. Like the way officials are now, the way referees are now, and the way state athletic commissions are now. Could you imagine seeing Gaddy Ward these days?
No.
Could you imagine seeing that 10th round on Corrales Castillo?
Nope.
Could you imagine seeing Rafa Marquez versus Izzy Vasquez? 1 through 4. No. And I hate to say this, but a lot of it has to do with everyone using PEDs. They're more respectful of their opponent's power also. And it's really tempered the product. So there's a very good chance you're going to get stung and you're going to get hurt with the first really good shot landed. But yeah, this is a little screwy though. Gee, Lee, have you ever heard of this? Someone testing positive for an anabolic steroid the day of the fight and the day after. Or I mean before the fight and immediately following after. Lee, where are you, brother? Well, I guess he can't hear us right now, or maybe he stepped out. G Funky, I think you're absolutely right. There's a turd in the punch bowl, for lack of a better word.
Yes,
right?
there is.
But he also tested positive for Ostarine. And the reason why I didn't bring that up first, because honestly, I don't care. Ostarine? Really? So it used to be a legal substance. It used to be not on the banned substance list, but now it is. Come on, guys. Come on. Lee, are you awake? Oh, he jumped off the show, didn't he?
Yeah, maybe he was having some connection problems, but yeah, this is
hopefully he makes it back on.
Yeah, this is a weird situation again. And again, I don't know all the details. I'm just reading what was released from Dan Rayfield about these are samples from the day before and the day of post-fight. Urine samples. So yeah, it's just weird, man. Like, guys, this isn't Captain America where you just give a guy some secret potion or whatever, and then all of a sudden he just magically changes before your eyes. All right,
that's right.
That's not how it works,
right.
man.
And look, it's not like honestly, he is flat out denying it, Ryan. He's not coming up with some stupid egg story like Connor Benn, right?
Right.
Lee, can you hear me now?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loudly and clearly now.
Sorry about
so your thoughts on that? Have you ever heard of someone testing positive for an anabolic steroid?
Yeah.
In a urinalysis. The day of the fight, or the day before the fight, and the day of the fight.
Well, I don't know the specifics as far as the day before, the day after, but I know. I mean, going back way back to the '90s. I believe '95 or '96. Francois Botha tested positive for steroids in a title-winning fight against, I believe it was Axel Schultz. But I mean, the whole kicker behind that was, Botha has one of these sort of lumberjack bodies, right? And he kind of laughed and said, "Look at my body. I'm not taking steroids." He did find steroids, and people can look it up. He did test positive for anabolic steroids, regardless of how his body looked. Yeah, so I mean, in that case, I mean, that's the only case I can remember of anyone testing positive for steroids.
Also, that's just as laughable. James Toney testing positive.
That's right.
For nandrolone when he beat the brakes off of John Ruiz.
That's right. That's right too. Yeah.
But that is very unusual.
Bodybuilding steroids, but these guys are like, I guess their defense is their body. And they're like, well, look at my body. So yeah, I mean, definitely that James Toney also. And I think maybe he tried to use the same defense. How can I be taking steroids? Look at my body.
Well, look, I will say this. Ryan's never tested positive before. Ever. Never. Gosh, this is really, really difficult for me to wrap my head around, because this is a guy who just scored a huge critical and commercial hit just 2 weeks ago. He was the toast of the entire sports community here in America. And he was a legitimate rock star, especially with those pay-per-view numbers. He became, you could easily make an argument for him being the new face of boxing.
Oh, yeah.
And then just like that, now he's looking at disciplinary action, possibly being exiled from the sport for at least a year with a huge fine. And the fight more than likely is going to be changed to a no contest.
Right. And don't forget about this, Joe. The current face of boxing, and this was just re-brought up again by Oscar De La Hoya today at the little
we'll talk about press conference.
But yeah, the current face of boxing, Canelo, tested positive for clenbuterol, and didn't seem to hurt his stock as far as like fans and things like that. So we'll see how this all plays, man. And again, I think there's still a lot to be determined with the dates of these positive tests coming back.
That's right. And also, we don't know how there was a presence there in what's being reported, but we don't know how much. Like, the reason why it didn't do anything to hurt Canelo, because the traces of clenbuterol that were found are consistent with, eating tainted meat from Mexico.
Right.
And so it was just traces of it. It wasn't very, the levels weren't very high. But still, the day of the fight, it wasn't very, the levels weren't very high. So this is what a lot of fighters do, guys. Have you noticed that camp usually does, or a fight doesn't get announced until like 2 months before the fight? Have you noticed that? Or a month and a half before the fight?
Yeah.
You remember back in the day when fights would get announced and properly promoted for like 4, 5, 6 months at a time?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, well, that's by design, guys. So they're already cycling out of it by the time they have to start testing. Do you know of any fighters currently? How many fighters do you know of currently that are enrolled in the 24/7, 365 program with WBC?
Not a lot.
No, not a lot.
Not a lot.
And that's for a reason, guys.
Yeah, and see, that's the point I try to get across to a lot of fans who they love to virtue signal about these sort of situations, right? Yet what has boxing actually done to try to stop this from happening? Yeah, they have these voluntary programs, but look at the other major sports. Nobody volunteers. They have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
until every fighter has to test, I'm look, it doesn't matter to me, to be honest with you. It just doesn't. That's the way I've felt about it for a long, long time now.
Yeah, Lee, your thoughts about this, because you already know how I feel, guys. If the fighters are all doing it and they're the ones who are getting punched in the head and they don't seem to mind, why the hell should any of us? Why is this even an issue? Hey, may the best juice win.
Can you hear me?
That's my ideology.
Can you
I
hear
can
me?
hear you now, sir.
Okay, yeah. Well,
I can hear
I
you
think
now,
it's. I
sir.
mean, they might have to make it like bodybuilding, where you have the drug-free bodybuilding contest, and then you have the bodybuilding contest, right? Where it's obvious. I mean, you can't even. I mean, you can't even get. You have no chance unless you're on numerous types of drugs. You can't even qualify for
Yep.
those types. I mean, maybe we're moving in that direction, not just in boxing but all sports. I mean, that'll make it an even playing field, where every sport is like boxing, and every sport is like bodybuilding, in the sense that, well, maybe in order to compete, this is what you have to do. Um, but right now it definitely taints things, because no matter what, the public in the public's eyes, they still think, okay, someone that tests positive is a cheater, et cetera, et cetera. Um, they're not thinking that, okay, well, everybody does this. They're thinking that only the people that the cheaters are the only people that get caught, right? So yeah, there's a problem now. I mean, unless we can either eradicate usage or make it an open playing field for all.
I agree.
Like bodybuilding,
Yep.
pro bodybuilding is open.
Yeah, and those guys are also they do like quarterly labs and things like that to make sure that they're not killing themselves while they're taking these steroids to look like the Incredible Hulk.
Right. Right.
So, I mean, yeah, yeah, either make it all legal or make it all illegal. Like they got to do something. They got to be more consistent with this, man, because yeah, there's a lot of fighters out there that don't test for shit, and they're still allowed to fight. They become world champions, blah, 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 on and on and on. Until boxing takes it more serious, there's no reason for me to take it serious and to be outraged at these sort of things.
It's a great point too. I mean, but it just sort of taints things, Like, it's almost like there's an asterisk there,
Hmm.
and like you said, I mean, now the victory has been changed, or will be changed to a no contest, and then of course all the haters will be saying, "Oh, he cheated and cheated and cheated, et cetera, et cetera." So there's sort of this
Yep.
cloud, but Canelo overcame it with no problem. And on one, I mean, here's one thing, Joseph. On one hand, does it
Oh, Joe, you there?
Oh, we lost Lee again. Oh.
Hey, look,
That's all right,
HLD's
brother.
right.
Just make it back.
Yeah, I want to say so. HLD's right in the chat. A lot of people don't even know the difference between a banned substance and a performance enhancing drugs. And
That's right.
those are always the people that scream the loudest at
Of
these sort of
course.
things. Like, again, they think that all you got to do is just put some juice in your veins one time and then you're this Incredible Hulk looking thing. Like, that's not the case, guys. Like, I can't uh fill myself full of steroids. Go get a baseball bat, start hitting home runs 500 feet like Barry Bonds.
That's
That's
absolutely right.
not how it
That's
works, guys.
absolutely right. I see. This is why I've never understood why it's banned. Like, dude,
Hmm.
if it can make you drive the long ball, what's the problem? Because Hank Aaron didn't have it. Who
Right.
cares? It's like, look, man, you still have to have that skill set.
Yeah, you
Just
got to
like
actually
in
be good.
boxing.
Yeah.
Just like in boxing, you still have to have that skill set. But I will say this. Oh, when you're using it in every sport, yeah, your reflexes, your power, your speed increase substantially over time. But your cardio suffers. Your cardio suffers. It weakens your aorta. Why do you think all of our favorite wrestlers are dead now?
Right. It's a funny thing, man, these steroids. And I actually had, and I told you this behind the scenes, Joe, and everyone that subscribed to me, I had Margaret Goodman all set to come on the channel, and we were going to have an interview with her. And a
Mm-hmm.
week before the interview, she canceled with us. And yeah, I was very disappointed in that, because there was a lot of questions that I wanted to ask as to why certain things are on these lists and certain things aren't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, to hit on HLD's point, is that people don't even know what a steroid is. Like, it's a
Mm-hmm.
it's synthetic hormones, guys, that
That's
your
right.
body naturally makes. um a thing is, I made this point about how weird some of these steroids are, how they're allowed to be used in certain things and not. Like, Joe, you're a big baseball fan. You remember back in what was it, 2004, I think, when the Red Sox finally won the World Series after all those years?
Oh yeah, Big Poppy.
Yes. And then they had the series against the Yankees. Kurt Schilling's bleeding from the ankle. He had surgery and whatnot. And the man was allowed to be shot up with a cortisone shot, which is a
That's right.
steroid.
That's right.
Yet
The
that's
bloody sock.
legal. That's
Yep.
legal to take. And then they're going to tell us that that didn't enhance his performance. If you didn't take that shot, he's not pitching that night. Are you kidding
That's
me?
right. That's
He's not
right.
out there. He's not out there throwing 6 shutout innings against the Yankees in an elimination game without that steroid in his body. So yeah, this stuff is weird for me, man, and that's why I don't get up in arms over it. I just don't, and I probably never will, to be honest with you.
Yeah. You know what? And once again, when I first got into this business, and I wanted to report on that story, but the more I dug, the more people I interviewed, the quicker I realized, yeah, it's undeniable. Everyone is doing it. I'm like, what's the fucking point? Pardon
Yep.
my French. Guys, let's say hello to our dear friends in the chat, starting with our brother, Sly Tennessees. Woo!
Hey.
Thank you for the super chat. He says, some folks just can't get out of their own way. SMH. Yes, indeed, SMH. But look, once again, if I'm advising Ryan Garcia, and I'm going to call Henry tomorrow, I'm going to say, throw your conditioning coach under the bus. Throw him under the bus. Dude, plausible deniability, right? I have no idea. I've never tested positive for anything. As an amateur, as a pro, stellar record. Surprised he didn't test positive for marijuana. But but seriously, I would throw my conditioning coach under the bus. And honestly, I would do away with all of those clowns. Just get them out of the sport. The drug pushers of boxing. Because once again, I'm going to say it again, guys, and I'm probably not going to be the last time during this show. You know, ever since these motherfuckers infiltrated our beloved boxing, you know, we never used to have to worry about anyone pissing dirty before they actually got here.
I love the Emmanuel Stewart. That's great.
Yeah, dude, honestly, I miss Emmanuel every day. And he hated conditioning coaches. One, you always ran the risk of your fighter popping dirty. And two, you know what? Nothing prepares you for battle quite like hard sparring. And that's what these guys will do just to get out of, that's what these motherfuckers will do just to get out of sparring, is go jump some rope and jump on some boxes. What the hell? Let me tell you, I've never seen anyone win a major world title just by doing conditioning.
Right.
Just do road work, just do calisthenics. That's it. And that's all you need. But nothing prepares you for battle like hard sparring. We don't need them, guys. We don't need them. I promise you this, without those jokers in the sport, we won't have any weight bullies. I can promise you that.
Yep. That's for sure,
So
man.
Ryan Garcia, he should throw his conditioning coach under the bus and blame it all on him. Sue his ass.
Yep. And that's what is it? LT Amazing. That's what all steroids do. They all help you recover. That's mainly what it's all about. Even like, we know that there was that big steroid thing in baseball, 20, 30 years ago. And most of the guys that talk about it, like, yeah, dude, we're playing 160 plus games, every day. Sometimes we're playing 3 straight weeks of games, and like, yeah, we need to recover, It's that simple. It's really that simple. So
that's it. Yep. That's it, guys. And look, the reason why I didn't mention, Austrian. Maria Sharapova tested positive for it, guys. And I will never understand why Deontay Wilder just took the money and didn't have the stones to fight Povetkin in Russia. I'm like, come on, dude. So when he started camp, Povetkin, it wasn't on the banned substance list. But they put it on like 6 weeks before the fight, right?
Yeah.
And so he tested positive for it. But when he started camp, it wasn't a banned substance yet. So why was Lou DiBella going nuts then and accusing him of being a drug cheat? I could never understand that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe Deontay Wilder's not going through with this fight. Just took the cool $5 million and hey, thanks for playing. And everyone called him a drug cheat after that.
Give me a second, Joe.
Why, guys? Yeah,
give me 1 second, okay?
Sure, no problem. But why? Once again, Maria Sharapova tested positive for it. Old people use it when they have osteoporosis, or when old men get it done so they don't have muscle loss, right? Improves your bone density too. Why is it Austrian on the banned substance list? Man, I don't know. Honestly, it's all of these promoters and everyone making money on this sport. Does it help them sleep better at night? Because they're making money off of these two guys taking punishment in the ring? Is that why they're, we need to clean up the sport? Really? Lee, your thoughts, brother?
Yeah, I agreed with most of that. I'm sorry, my phone died. So sorry about that.
No, that's all right, man. That's all right, brother. Dude, maybe you just need to get an improvement from that pocket cricket. I'm just jiving, brother. I'm just jiving, my friend.
From what I heard, yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. But something has to be done one way or the other, so we can just move forward, and not have these
I can't stand it. I can't stand it. Once again, if you don't want this to be a reoccurring issue, get rid of all the conditioning coaches. Get rid of them. Like, have you noticed most of the conditioning coaches have been ostracized from Olympic competition? The ones that actually train fighters in boxing, the ones who have migrated over to boxing because they can't get a job anywhere else. Have you noticed that? Chingao, man, I'm sick of it. Absolutely sick of it. So anyway, let's say hello to our dear friend Outlaw. Welcome to the show, sir. And yes, I saw your comment about Lee's. He's got the same internet that I do. Woo! Thank you, though, brother, for joining us. We really appreciate it, my friend. Also, Lonzo Amazing, welcome to the show, sir. Thank you for being here. Yes, please smash the likes, guys. Mojo Verse. I wish I had better news for you, brother, but yes. But look, we'll see, guys. Once again, this is really weird. Testing positive the day of the fight and the day before the fight. That's it. But no time when he was tested during camp. Really?
Strange, isn't
Really?
it? That's weird. Yeah.
So, guys, once again, let's let due process play out. At least Ryan's not coming up with some fishy scrambled egg theory, right? Outlaw, yes, indeed. Ryan, innocent until proven gay. Yes, sir.
Oh shit.
Man, that's just gay. Man, that's just gay, sucker. I love it. That is an underrated joke, Monteguia. Welcome to the show, sir. Well, I tell you what, Adam's got some great comments up here. I'm going to go down the list and read most of them as we're going. But thank you for joining us, Monteguia. And I hope you're at the fight card, man, on Friday. If not, I'll for sure see you on the 11th. Let's see. Okay. If chicks with dicks can get away with it, he can too.
Ooh.
Yes, I said it. I said it. Yes. I will never I guess beauty is indeed in the eye of the beholder, but maybe I'm weird, but I usually like to see a feminine woman, not one that looks like the Incredible Hulk.
And she just literally cleared her own name. Like, that was the funny thing. She's like, oh, well, she wouldn't, I guess, did her own testing or whatever. And yeah, nothing happened to her. That's the weird thing. No suspension, nothing.
I thought you were talking about that she cleared the air, that she actually has a vagina.
Oh.
No, that wasn't the conflict.
No.
I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding. Look, beauty is indeed the eye of the beholder, and she seems like a lovely woman. She seems like a lovely trans woman, but a lovely woman nonetheless. Yeah. So I tell you what, welcome to the show, taking your top knot. Thank you for joining us, sir. Thank you. Outlaw says, if I were Ryan, I would blame Oscar. I mean, he usually blames him for everything else in his life, right? Oscar on fire right now. He's not taking shit right now. No, he's not.
No.
And would that be a good time to segue into this press conference?
Let's do it.
G, did you see the press conference, brother?
I did not see it, but I saw the highlights and
all you have to know though is the history. I saw it live, brother. I was there. And it's funny. Our brother James was at the press conference. He's in Vegas right now, partaking in all the festivities for the Cinco de Mayo gala. And he said, oh man, what you see? He goes, dude, did you see the press conference? I was like, yeah, man. Canelo hates this dude. And Oscar, well, he's got some disdain for him as well. Bringing up the fact that he tested positive twice. Oh, and Canelo wouldn't have any part of it, man. Pendejo. What do you call him? Pinche maricón. I loved it. I thought they were getting ready to scrap it on right there, brother. Thought we were going to see puros chingazos between Oscar and Canelo.
But you know something, Joe? Here's the funny thing is, like, Oscar was right where he said that, look, we built this guy. You and I know this. Lee knows this as well. That the Golden Boy cultivated Canelo into a superstar here in the U.S. market. That's just an irrefutable fact. And I got people arguing with me about it on Twitter, which doesn't surprise me because there's a bunch of fucking retards on Twitter that think they know some shit. But you cannot refute the fact that Golden Boy made this guy who he is today. Period. No one can say any different. Now these guys are, oh well, any other company would have done it. No, we don't know that for sure. We don't. But we do know for sure Golden Boy did it. Now, Canelo's claiming that Oscar steals money from Canelo. Like, I don't know anything about that. I've done business with Golden Boy, and I can tell you this. They're all class, man. And this is with a fighter that really didn't think very highly of Golden Boy going into this fight. And then after the fight, when everything was said and done, yeah, had a different opinion about Golden Boy and how he was treated and how he was compensated. So that's all I can tell you about that. If Canelo's claiming that the man stole money from fighters, and that's a serious claim, man. You should see some proof, or just say, I was just talking shit, whatever. But yeah, that's
Look,
a
man,
serious
do you really
claim.
think Oscar needs to steal money from
No.
anyone, guys? How many businesses? How many businesses does he own in California?
Right. There's no need for that. And look, he's dude, Canelo, and look, a lot of fans are gonna get hurt at this, but he's not even half the draw Oscar was in his prime. I'm
No,
sorry. He's just
no,
not. He's not. So yeah, there's no
no.
need to steal money, okay?
Yeah. Look, guys, and this is the tragic thing about this happening to Ryan right now. Because this is a guy who lives in America. He brings an entirely fresh new demographic to the sport. Kids are actually watching boxing now thanks to Ryan Garcia and Jake Paul. Like
Yep.
little kids. I haven't seen. When is the last time you've seen little kids gearing up for a prize fight? Not
Been a
since we
long
were
time.
kids.
Yeah.
Not since we were kids. Lee, how did
The
you
80s.
fall in love with the sport, brother?
The 80s.
Yep. And it was your pop sitting you down next to him, watching the fights with him, right?
Yep.
Tell you what, that's how I fell in love with the sport, guys. And that's the tragic thing. This guy may be out for an entire year. You know what, though? Let's just let due process play out, because this doesn't sound right. This does not sound right. But I will say this. I feel very, very bad for Devin Haney, because you can't it's hard not to come to the conclusion that Ryan wasn't worried about a title. Ryan wasn't. It almost seemed like Ryan just wanted to come in if these positive tests, if they stick, right? And if he was guilty of popping dirty, right? It almost, you have to come to the conclusion that he was interested in just beating Devin Haney's ass in an unsportsmanlike manner. Didn't try to make weight and tested positive for 2 banned substances. I don't see how you can view it any other way. And unfortunately now, even though he is one of the big breadwinners of this business, they're going to sit him down. They're going to sit him down for at least a year. This isn't just testing positive for cannabis, guys. That is so tragic, man. I'm going to say it again. Boxing just can't catch a break.
It's the gift that keeps on giving, Joe.
Yeah, unfortunately, brother.
I mean, who knows? I mean, in an odd way, this could make it more popular. Now he's had this fight, this sort of this dream fight, this sort of breakout fight now, and people know who he is. So when he fights again, I mean, he's going to have that name recognition still because of this fight. So you never really know. I mean, even if it's negative name recognition, people might still want to see him. But he has that recognition now. So who knows? Maybe if it was on purpose, that's what he was angling for.
Well, our brother here today brings up a very good point. And welcome to the show, sir. And thank you for joining us across the pond, sir. He said, "Cheer, gentlemen. What a shame. But Joseph, Ryan knew he had to win, perform after his tank debacle, including PEDs and intentional weight miss. Yeah, this was pretty much a must win. In fact, a lot of people going into this fight didn't even know if he should be cleared to fight. They wanted him to take a psych eval. And yeah, they made him, New York State Athletic Commission made him take a psych evaluation. And he passed. Come to find out that it was just an act, guys. But look, yeah, this was do or die for Ryan Garcia. So was there a motive? Of course. To make life-changing money? Score a big critical hit over an undefeated nemesis? Yeah, of course. There's always a motive for these fighters. That's why they all do it. And guys, that's the reason why I'm with Lee, man. I think it should be just like bodybuilding. Hey, best juice wins. Because once again, guys, steroids cannot, and G Funky brought this up, steroids cannot teach you how to fight. You still have to have that skill set. That's why I love boxing and baseball. Because you don't have to be a giant to be able to play. All you have to have is that skill set, and you can be the best in the world. If you have that skill set. Doesn't matter how short you are. Doesn't matter how tall you are. Doesn't matter how much you weigh. All you have to have is that skill set, and you can be an elite level player. That's why I love boxing and baseball, guys. And I really don't care for NBA right now. Not like I used to.
Oh, NBA
and honestly,
is terrible.
And honestly, yeah, I'm starting to lose interest in the NFL, especially now that Taylor Swift is at every Chiefs game. I can't stand it, man. But anyway, guys, yeah, Carpenter reported on ESPN, said it was taken the day before and the day of. That's right. That's the same thing that James told me from Vegas when the news first broke.
Whew. Did I hit my mutant time? I just sneezed a couple times, man. I'm sorry, guys.
No, you got it. I didn't even know, brother. God bless you.
Yeah,
But
cut the lawn today
Mojo
and,
Verse, welcome to the show, sir. Adam Lopez says Ostarine isn't a cutting agent. It's used to increase muscle mass. Yes, it is. And it helps with bone density as well. And it raises your level of testosterone. Yeah. Yeah, I am your leader. I agree. Who cares? Who cares? Yeah, dude. Look, we just want to see two guys whoop that ass in the ring. That's it. What's the big deal if the fighters don't mind and they're all doing it? Why the hell should anyone else be making such a commotion?
Yeah, and you know what else is funny is we hear this all the time about, oh man, if you take steroids, you could kill somebody in there, Like we don't have any evidence of that, do we?
Like I said, you can make a strong argument that the sport has actually become safer. Because you don't see as many guys are respecting each other's power. Look, if this weren't a rampant issue, if everyone weren't doing it, would you see so many guys respectful of each other's power? Almost appearing at times to be afraid to get hit.
Oh, yeah.
How often do you see Marvin Hagler versus John the Beast Mugabe now? These days. How often do you see that, Lee?
Never.
Yeah, guys. So look, just quit your grandstanding. Stop it. We all know that you make money. You want to seem like some philanthropist that you're giving back to the sport. No, take your greedy ass. Shut up. hey, I'm sure you can look just fine, look at yourself in the mirror that, yes, you're exploiting these two combatants and you're making a lot of money off of it. Hooray.
Yep.
Leave the sport alone. Quit getting on these guys. If it makes the product better, fine. We don't see as many bludgeonings these days. Okay? You could argue that this sport is safer. You don't see that kind of sustained beating anymore as a result of PEDs in boxing.
Nope. And if anything, some big fights where we know fighters have tested positive and have admitted to taking something. One of them is in the picture with me here on the screen when he fought Oscar.
That's right.
Came in looking chiseled like a sculpture, you know.
And
guess
got his
what?
ass whooped.
He didn't kill Oscar. He lost. Same thing with Shane Mosley in the rematch with Oscar. The
That's
man
right.
admitted to being on EPO, and he should have taken a loss that night. I feel like he lost that fight, but I mean, he was nowhere near killing Oscar in the ring, juiced up like that. So, yeah, there's that.
And there it is. And there it is. Hold on. Mojoverse. Nah, everyone can't be on PEDs because if Shakur is using it and still can't punch through a wet paper bag, something is horribly wrong. Well, maybe Memo Heredia needs to design a special PED for Shakur to give him some balls so he doesn't run around like a bitch. How's
Oh,
that?
terrible fight that guy had.
That was like watching grass grow, brother.
Mm.
His last fight. And then he's wondering why no one's interested in seeing him fight anymore. Tell you what, man, honestly, I couldn't care to see Jermaine Ortiz either.
Yeah.
AJ Robbins, welcome to the show, sir. He says, Ryan's playing dumb. Everyone knows drug testing, not instant results. It takes time through the lab. Same way with regular jobs. That doesn't seem to be the case here. The test, the urinalysis that was administered, what was during the or after the weigh-in and after the fight, correct?
Yeah. Day of and post fight.
Did I misunderstand? Because they usually give you, the State Athletic Commission usually gives you one after the weigh-in and then after the fight, immediately following the fight, the urinalysis. That's the State Athletic Commission's test. So you mean he didn't pop dirty during the Veda testing? Because this was a WBC event. There was Veda testing, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So that's weird. Adam. It wasn't even like EPO or anything good.
Right. I mean, guys, people like Memo Heredia have said things like, peak performance at the elite level of the sport without doping is a fairy tale, like,
Yeah.
Hey, it's one of those things that we're just going to have to accept. That's all.
Yeah, guys. And Lee, you still with us, brother? Or are you napping?
Still here, man.
So, hey, brother. Let's shift gears a little bit, guys, because I'm tired and we're already like an hour in. Let's talk about something good. Let's get Lee's take on this big fight coming up Saturday night, May 4th. May the 4th be with Jaime Munguia. He's going to need it because he's coming up against the Cinnamon Boy, Canelo Alvarez. And let me tell you something. I haven't seen this version of Canelo in a while where he seems perturbed. He seems like he has a chip on his shoulder coming into this. One, he hates everyone asking him about David Benavidez. And then also, he can't stand it that Jaime Munguia may have just as many fans on fight night cheering for him and against Canelo. Right? he may even have more fans from Mexico because of how unpopular Canelo's decision or his comments were. Give me 150 million to 200 million. I'll fight him tomorrow. Well, Lee, what were you thinking when you heard that? And do you think that's going to be a factor in this fight?
Yeah, I mean, it could be because Mexican fans have so much machismo. It's almost like he's giving them way too much credit. Like I said before, it's one thing if you're saying, "Hey, fight Joshua Fury," and he jokingly asked for 100 million or 150, right? It's another thing when you say David Benavidez. You're really kind of giving the guy way too much more credit than you should. It kind of makes you sound a little scared, right? We know he's not scared, but if I were him, I would have replied different. As far as the fans, yeah, I mean, Mexican fight fans are all about courage and heart, and so a lot of them may see this as him sidestepping Benavidez. So that could be an issue. Then again, he hasn't said he wouldn't fight Benavidez. I mean, that's still a possibility, but we'll have to see this, see how it plays out. But I wouldn't be surprised if Munguia's got some fans.
No, he's actually quite popular in Mexico. That's what most people up here realize. He's been making the rounds the last several years on mainstream media in Mexico. And he has a lot of fans that are going to be coming up cheering for him to become the new torchbearer of Mexican boxing. I don't know if you guys know this already, but G Funky, please confirm this. And man, even though Canelo is a beloved guy in Mexico, he's a folk hero to a lot of people, to the elite, to the guys with money. But he's got a lot of haters, man, in Mexico, doesn't he?
He sure does. He sure does, man.
Like a lot, guys. And they always go back to this, and they never forgot this. They say the same thing. Could you ever imagine Julio Cesar Chavez dumping his title in the trash to avoid any fighter?
Nope.
No. Hey, and there Lee goes again. Something tells me that this time he's not going to come back on. I hope he does, though. I think he's having a hard time with his pocket cricket phone. But, yeah. So, yeah, guys, this is bad. LT, amazing. Thank you for joining us, sir. And he says, Ryan Garcia needs to step his head game up and give Snack a call. Ooh. So he doesn't test positive for a damn urinalysis. A urinalysis, G Funky.
Right.
Let's say hello to our dear friend
Tycho. What's up, man?
And then we're going to sign off in a bit. But I will say this, though. That press conference, and you could feel the tension between Oscar and Canelo. Testing positive why did he bring that up? And even testing positive twice, we still made him a big star.
Yeah, I think he knew that
was an obvious dagger, brother, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, he knew that would strike a nerve with him for sure.
And Adam has the beat. Dude, baseball was indeed more fun when everyone was juicing. Come on now, man. Come on, dude. When both those guys were chasing Roger Maris's record.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was awesome. That was so much fun to watch, wasn't it?
Yep. I loved it.
It revitalized baseball. And then all of a sudden, everyone starts making a big deal out of this, and then congressmen then want to get involved. And you see people testifying in Congress. I'm like, dude, what is going on here? This is a game. And you're wasting taxpayer money? No shit.
Mm-hmm.
Ching out, man. But anyway, guys, I I don't think I could say any more, except for, come on, guys. Can boxing have one good thing happen for it, please?
Right.
So we want to welcome Combat Sports Media. He says, since everyone in the top 20 is doing it, conditioning coaches are a necessity, a necessary evil today, right? I believe so. Hell no, dude. Hell no. Get their ass out of the sport. Get their ass out of the sport. What did Freddie Roach say when your friend, the liberal, what's his name? Used to write for Max Boxing. What was it?
Well, Gabriel Montoya?
Yeah, Gabe Montoya. What did he say when he was doing that interview with Freddie Roach? It was ironic too. Hey, you want to clean up the sport? Because Emmanuel, he didn't trust any of Freddie Roach's fighters. Man, I don't trust anybody coming out of that Juice Central. He used to call it Juice Central. Man, that motherfucker, Freddie Roach, whoever he's working with, they've got all of those fighters on the juice. And he was pissed when he saw Chavez, and he skated out from taking his post-fight urinalysis and drug test. Yeah, he was pissed. And so, yeah, just get them all out of there, man. We don't need those guys. I'm sorry, but correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't boxing a much better product overall when we didn't have these ass clowns attached to the sport? What do you think? Has it become a more fan-friendly product in your mind?
No, it hasn't.
No,
that's why
it hasn't.
And we talked about this a lot. Why do you think they're making all these weird events now? Yeah, because the shit's not as good as it used to be.
That's exactly right, guys. Once again, guys, mainstream and casual fans, they want to see more fights in their fights. I'll never forget that as long as I live. That was just a bonehead. A guy wouldn't know a left hook from a fish hook. And he's going, you know what? I used to be a fan of boxing. Not so much anymore, man. Maybe I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't know, but I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. I just like to see more fight in my fights. I couldn't think of it. I couldn't put it any better in any better way. That was absolutely perfect. Yeah. No fat on that comment at all. But I will say this. Maria Sharapova tested positive for it. Not my sweet baby Anna Kournikova, though. You ain't lying. I think that's about it, though, guys, right?
Yeah, man. I think we've covered just about everything. We need to see what's going on with all the details and everything. And again, testing clean all through camp, and then whatever this is showing up the day before and after.
In a urinalysis.
We need to see. We need to let all the chips fall, and then we'll go from there. And
yeah, guys, and it's getting late, brother. But W.A.W, welcome to the show, sir. He said, breaking news. It was not Ostarine that Ryan tested positive for. It was estrogen. Are you sure that wasn't Haney's sample?
Oh. Yeah, those shoes he was wearing were a little fruity, if you ask me.
And look, guys, I apologize I wasn't able to get to everyone in the chat, but yes, Haney now, more than likely, will still be an undefeated fighter, technically. Because this is most certainly going to become a no contest. That's it. That's it, guys. G-Funky, your parting shots for our listening audience this evening.
Yeah, guys, just, obviously this news just broke, so we came on and talked about it. But yeah, I see a lot of knee-jerk reactions, which is typical for this sort of thing. But just, look, let's let all the chips fall. Ryan's claiming that he's innocent. Let's see what he can provide to back those claims. We're already seeing positive tests from a source from VADA, so we'll see what happens, man. I usually like to let all the chips fall, like I say, before I give my real true opinion on it. But for a long time, I've been saying that, look, if boxing doesn't start making everyone test, not just volunteering to test, but everyone has to do it mandatory, then what's the point of even getting upset about this shit? They
Indeed.
obviously don't. They obviously don't care. So that's all I got, guys. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it, man.
Guys, he's G Funky Boxing. And guys, I'm sorry I didn't have my interview with Austin No Doubt Trout, former junior middleweight champion, WBA, today, but we had to reschedule because things came up. But we will be on tomorrow night with the Austin No Doubt Trout, dear friend of mine, known him for about 16 years. And he's one of the best guys you'll ever meet in this business, not just in this business, but in life. He is a great guy, and I can't wait to roll out the red carpet for him, and I know you guys will as well. So guys, get your questions ready, and we'll be sharp 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific tomorrow. So guys, on behalf of G Funky, on behalf of the sleepy Lee Cleveland, I'm Joseph Heron. You've been listening to War Week Boxing. Have a great evening, everybody.
Vashon Holdings proudly presents War Week Radio Chats with ring announcer Joseph Heron.